What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Boulder Media Radio. I'm your host, Javier, and we are here on a Tuesday evening. I've had a busy day. I've had a lot of stuff going on. I intended to do my show a lot earlier today, but we had to push back some stuff. One of the more important things was that I had to have dinner with my kids. And if you have kids, you know that that's a little bit more important than doing a podcast or a webcast live and any of that stuff. So that's why we're doing this late at 6:45 tonight. And I hope you guys are having a really awesome Tuesday. Sorry, I just need to get some water. And that you guys are having a powerful Tuesday. And I hope that you guys are doing great with your business, with what you guys are trying to strive and succeed with. I had some hiccups today when it came to business stuff. So nothing bad, but it's all part of business. Nothing is always sunshines and rainbows and all that stuff. I mean, like, people think that a business owner, they live this glorious life, that it is just easy and great and fun and all this other stuff. And in reality, sometimes being a business owner sucks, okay? It is not that fun. And I was actually mentioning this to one of my friends. He's downloaded my podcast. His name Brian Humphreys, and he's super cool guy. Know him from high school. If you guys know video marketing really well, this guy is like in the video arena where he edits videos for like campaigns, for like political campaigns. And you're like, he's a jerk. Well, he's not a jerk. All right, he's a super cool guy. Probably one of the smartest people that I know. And so he basically, inspired me to start doing this podcasting. And I guess the best way to kind of put this is a shout out to Brian, because I don't think I would have really, not that I would have gotten the nerves to do it. I don't think I would have really stepped over the boundaries, if you will, and say, you know what, I need to get into this podcasting stuff. I need to get into this webcast stuff. He was the one that really kind of opened the doors, if you will, and said, Javier, you might want to consider doing this. And so it was the coolest thing, because he had his best interest in, providing me some good valuable information. And he's just a cool guy. So, we were talking, and he basically, was saying that it's really cool about, me being an entrepreneur and stepping out of my comfort zone and doing what my dream is and all that stuff. And so it was interesting, because I kind of joked with him. I was like, sometimes I kind of wish I didn't have it in my DNA to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur. And you might be thinking, well, why would you ever not want to have that in your DNA? Sometimes not being an entrepreneur is kind of nice, like where you can just go to work, clock in, get paid, go home, have dinner, all that stuff. But guess what? It's 6:50 right now in Colorado, okay? And my kids are upstairs taking a bath, all right? And you're like, well, you could be hanging out with your kids. I totally can, but I need to get this stuff done. I work around the clock, and do I like it? I do. I actually do like it. It sometimes is challenging and difficult and frustrating, but I wouldn't trade this for anything. And you're like, well, why did you say you wish you didn't have it in your DNA to be an entrepreneur? Because I know I'm extremely challenging. I am a difficult person to be with. I'm a difficult person to understand. I get all that stuff. And being an entrepreneur is hard, because you have certain expectations about what you need to accomplish. You have certain things that go through your head that sometimes don't make sense. And other times it's just a struggle. The struggle is real, okay? And people don't get that. People only see the glorious things. They see the Grant Cardones. They see the Elon Musks. They see the Bill Gates. They see all that, all the glory. They don't see the hard work and the hardship that these people go through. And if you guys that are watching this, I'm assuming most of my audience are entrepreneurs, business owners, or sit in some sort of high level position in their company. You get it. If you're not a business owner, you just don't get it. And things aren't all sunshines and rainbows on this end, okay? Not just for me, but for everybody else. But what I will tell you is this, is that as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, you make it sunshines and rainbows. You make it look like it is the most beautiful day you've ever seen and there's nothing better. And why do you do that? Because you always have the outlook of the positive. You always have the outlook of like, it's only going to get better as things continue. It's only going to get better as things persist. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's the part that most people don't get. So the reason this kind of came up is, and this is an ironic topic because I literally, I forgot that I was going to be talking about this today. I was literally talking about this topic with my father-in-law before dinner. So you guys don't know this, my in-laws live about 40 minutes away, and you're like, well, that's way too close. Actually, it's not bad. I actually get along with them very well. Occasionally, we have little arguments here and there with my father-in-law. My mother-in-law is amazing. She watches my show all the time, and she gives thumbs ups and she shares it. So, Kathy, shout out to you. And as far as your selected husband, we'll put up with him for a little bit. But no, in all reality, I love my in-laws. I could not have married into a better family. Okay. And I'm dead serious when I say that. I'm not just saying that because I'm on live TV or on a podcast or anything like that. I'm saying that because I am one of the luckiest men on the planet to A, marry my beautiful wife, but B, marry into a really cool family. And so it's really cool. And so, I was talking to my father-in-law as my wife was going to go pick up Gabriel from school today, and we were just, I forget how we got on topic. Oh, he was talking about one of his employees who was leaving is basically was like, I don't know, whatever the highest academic standard that you can get, like award, okay, in college, like Kuma Live, whatever, or I don't know, like, and I kind of, he goes, which one is it? And I kind of laughed at it. I'm like, John, you're asking the wrong person. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I got kicked out of college. Okay. Like that's the last thing I know about is the highest academic standard. He was like, he started laughing. He goes, why did you get kicked out of college? I go, because I partied too much. Because I was not an academically sound candidate for college. And he kind of started laughing. He goes, well, I graduated. I told him, I go, my GPA when I graduated was like a 2.4, 2.3, something like that. It was not stellar. Okay. And he's like, wow, mine was a 2.35. And you're probably thinking, man, you're in good company. There's something I want to make a very big distinguishing difference between him and I, right? My father-in-law is, when I say borderline genius, he tested as genius, okay? And so he won't talk about that. So when you play Scrabble with this man, it is the worst thing on the planet, okay? He knows every word, okay? Like, I don't know if you've ever played Scrabble with somebody that is pretty smart. Play Scrabble with someone that literally their major was English, okay? And on top of that, also went into the medical field. So he would use words that are in the English dictionary. You're like, I don't know if I should challenge that word. Or he would use medical terms and words. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I want to challenge it, but I can't. So dude is super smart, all right? Beyond smart. And the way his logical thinking is a little different. I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just his way of processing things are different. And it is a challenge when it comes to communicating, us with ideas and stuff like that. And so anyways, we were just talking about that. And I was like, John, I got kicked out for academic grades. I'm not the one to know about these positions or these awards and statuses for college. And he kind of started laughing. He said, he also was like, he graduated with like a 2.35. And I basically had to like reinstate myself into college. I got put on probation. I didn't get my act together. And then I got kicked out the following semester. And then I got my act together, took night school, took summer classes, all sorts of stuff to get my grades back up, to get everything going again. And so it was good for me. That experience, getting kicked out of college, was a great experience. And so this episode is about why I think college was my worst investment ever. Okay. Now, I don't know who my audience is as far as academics. If you're watching or listening, I'd love to know if you have a college degree or you don't. I know Stan said here that he says, I know how you feel. Job skills are where it's at. I agree with Stan. And this has nothing to do that college is bad. Okay. I think college is great for the people that are going to be lawyers or attorneys. doctors, nurses, professions that you need a college degree to even remotely get a position. Okay. I don't think college is for everybody. And I say that more so today than I would ever have said this 15 years ago. Okay. College has evolved. I have not set foot in, okay, other than going to football games, I have not set foot into my university since graduation. And is that a fault or anything like that? No, I don't think it's a fault. But what I will tell you is that, my experience, and I went to a great school. I went to the University of Colorado at Boulder. I graduated from the Leeds School of Business, which at the time was like either top 50 or top 25 business college in the country. Like top, okay? This was a good school and still is, right? So where I'm coming from is that I went to a great college, and I just don't feel like, and this is not a knock on the school. This is not a knock on the administration. This is not a knock on anything. Okay. So if you guys are thinking, man, you're hating on the Buffs, I bleed black and gold on Saturdays. Okay. When I see my Buffaloes play, I bleed black and gold. All right. I am a Buff fan. I love my Buffs. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps because it's almost football season. I love watching them in basketball. I love my Colorado Buffs. All right. I love the town of Boulder. It is by far one of the coolest college towns ever. Why? It's 5-mile radius surrounded by reality. There's just a bunch of interesting people in Boulder, a bunch of hippies, and you gotta love them. I was borderline hippie. The difference is that I showered. All right. I brushed my teeth. I didn't have dreads, but I did wear Birkenstocks. I wore shorts and a t-shirt as much as possible. Okay. And I'm talking about as long as I could until I had to wear something else. I wore a North Face jacket to classes like everybody else. Right. And I was borderline hippie. All right. And so I loved it. It's a good school. So when I come about this, it's not because I'm knocking my school. All right. I have more love for the Buffs than anything else. I joke with my wife about this all the time, is that my money for college for our kids is going to Colorado. All right. The University of Colorado. I don't care where my kid goes to school. He just, or she, because I have a girl and a boy, they just have to understand one thing. If they want college paid for, they're going to the University of Colorado. If they don't want college paid for, then they're going somewhere else. Okay. And so someone's going to have a pretty cool ride in college if it's not my kids. And so that's the ongoing joke. And so if you guys don't know this either, my wife is a Colorado State Ram. So we have a nice rivalry once a year in September. I think it's around usually Labor Day, where we don't get along very well. Okay. I love my wife to death. She's amazing. She's beautiful. But that's the one day we're kind of like, we're a little, we kind of push each other's buttons a little bit. Okay. She's super smart, academically beyond what I will ever experience probably. And it's kind of cool because she did very well in school. All right. So she has a different perspective when it comes to college. Okay. Her entire family, very academic, high standards, all this stuff. My family, my mom doesn't have my mom has a degree, but it wasn't like a university degree. I think it was more of like a secondary type of degree. My dad does not have a college degree whatsoever. He didn't even go to high school. Okay. If you don't know everything about my father, he was an immigrant. All right. And so anyways, that's another subject. And my sister has a college degree from, where did she graduate from? I forget. She also has an MBA. Okay. So she got her MBA from Southern Mississippi University. If you guys know who Brett Favre, okay, that's his school. She went to school there. I don't know if it was at the same time, but it was the same university. Anyways, my point being is that she's very academic driven. She's super smart, reads a lot, all that stuff. Me, I went to college. I almost went to college just to make my parents happy. And if you're like, well, I mean, they paid for it. That's the problem. They didn't pay for it. My parents didn't pay for jack for college. Okay, well, I take that back. They paid for my first year. They helped pay a little bit, and then after that, I was responsible for everything else. So I graduated with like $30,000 in debt. So that is the number one reason why I think college is the worst investment. I had a $30,000 debt at the end of this. $30K. Okay. And it was all college loans. All right. I paid it all off. I have no more college loans. It was paid off like, gosh, 7 years ago, maybe. And I'm happy it's paid off. I had a low interest rate, but I just wanted to get that thing off my plate. So we paid it off, and it was good. It was nice to not have any debt in that area. So that was really nice. But what I will tell you is that I kind of sit here and I think about it. I was like, okay, I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I paid $30,000, okay, for a college education from a prestigious university, okay? And I don't feel like I actually have applied much, if any, of that towards my career. Okay. And if you're like, are you kidding? I don't think so. I think the one thing I got out of that was my entrepreneurial class, where we had to write a business plan. And I kind of had the structure of how to write a business plan, and I used it. And our team, it was me and one of my best friends, Adam Brochi. He lives in Seattle, and two other guys. And I forgot their names. That's how close we were. We basically put a business plan together, and our team got third place in the competition. Anyways, that's beside the point. I really don't think that I got a lot out of my college tuition that carried over into my career. And this is a debate that I have a lot with my wife and other business professionals and entrepreneurs, is that they say, well, I'm thinking about going to get my MBA. And I'm like, why would you do that? It's just such a waste of money. And they kind of get offended by it. And I tell them, I go, listen, why would you get your MBA? Your MBA basically is what you've been doing in work. Like what your skill sets that you've developed as a business owner is essentially your MBA. And I was telling this to my father-in-law, and I go, I kind of joke about, going back to get my MBA. And he goes, well, he's like, this is the right time to do it because there's a lot of adults going back to college. And I go, the only problem is that I don't think I would be a good student, because I would be the person that would be completely pissing off the professor by saying something along the lines of, well, in my business, we didn't do that. In academic standards, okay, I can get that. But in my business, we didn't do that kind of stuff. And I would probably set some people off, okay? Whether I went to an actual college, like went to classes, okay? I think a lot of MBA programs, they offer them at night. Sorry about that. I need to get another drink. Otherwise, if I did like an online course where you can get an MBA online, yeah, I can totally do that. But I really didn't see. I have a hard time seeing that $30,000 turning into what I created in my business, because what I learned in college, I would say that I've probably applied maybe, I don't know, less than 1% of it. I would probably say that, roughly. So let's see, what did Michael say? Worst investment ever, still owe $50K for a degree I'll likely never use. Yeah, so it just, and I think it's tough because you're forced to almost pick a career path at the age of 18, okay? Or 17 for some people. I can tell you right now, like, I knew what I wanted to do at 18 years old. I already knew the goal was to open a martial arts studio. That was the goal. That was the plan, okay? But I'm the rarity, okay? I am not like everybody else, all right? So let me kind of move on, because otherwise I'm going to stick on this one part of the tuition. Number two reason is I have written on here on my screen is that old methods of business being taught from textbooks. This is, I don't know if it's changed today. And the reason I say that is that social media, the internet, Google, YouTube, Amazon, Wikipedia, all these sources, okay? And you can say like, well, some of them aren't really reliable. I don't care. It's a source, all right? All these sources, all kind of, if you think about it, you can put your course together whatever you want. And I really think that probably is shaping college today. So to kind of go along with this, back in 2000, 2002, 2003, because I think I graduated in 2004. Again, tells you how much I pay attention to that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of the strategies and a lot of the methods of teaching from these textbooks are useless. And it's because they're old ways of learning business, old paradigms. Okay. And if you're thinking, well, business never changes, the concept of a business does not change. Okay. You still have your profits and losses. You still have marketing. You still have operations. You still have management. You have all this stuff that will never change. That's always going to be the same. Get that. But what does change is the deliverability on how businesses grow and thrive. Okay. And so a great example is Amazon, largest company on the planet. Okay. And super successful, but they never would have existed if the internet wasn't what it is today. So if Amazon opened up in, I don't know, 1970, okay, what would Amazon be? Nothing. Okay, so the deliverability is a little different. And so what I'm getting to is that I feel like textbooks take a while to publish, and the way the things are getting delivered and the technology and the sourcing of all this stuff is all changing. It's all evolving. And what I mean by this is that things change all the time. Like when I run marketing campaigns, what an ad that worked 6 months ago may not work again. And so we have to restructure that ad and play with it. What was successful before may not work again. And I say all this because is that the world of business has really changed because of the internet. Okay? It has evolved completely. And I feel like a lot of professors, and I want you to, and I respect professors that have MBAs and PhDs. I respect them because they have a lot of knowledge and they carry a lot of value. I really, really do. I don't want this to come out as though like I'm bashing. But let's be honest, okay? The people that really understand today's technology are going to be your 20, 30, 40-year-olds. Once you start hitting that 50, 60, they kind of understand it, but not to the degree of others, okay? Am I saying all 50-year-olds are like that? I didn't say that. All I'm simply saying is that there is a gap of people that grew up with this whole technology thing. I remember when the Internet Superhighway existed. That's what it was called. It was called the Internet or the Internet Superhighway or something like that. It was something superhighway. And that was a big deal. This was like in middle school, okay? That was huge. And they were saying that you can transfer information, you can get this and you can do that. And it was like, wow, this is really cool. And then whenever like Hotmail was cool for email, and the top search engines were like Yahoo and gosh, I forget some of these. They're all gone now. Okay, Yahoo is still there, but all these other search engines, and then the search engines were directories. They weren't search engines; they were directories. Okay, it was. I remember all of this. Okay, to what it is now, and it's hard to keep up with it. All right, and I look at what the internet is today. The internet is this whole podcasting, this whole webcasting, this whole Facebook Live. This is the internet today. You're like, no, it's not, Javier. It's whenever you search. The internet today is basically all the social platforms. That is the internet today. That is what I would call, Web 2.0. Okay. And so, I mean, heck, you can even argue Web 3.0 if you wanted to. But that's what I would call it. It's the whole social platforms, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the iTunes, all these other social platforms. That is the internet today. That's not being taught unless the textbooks are like immediately coming off the press within hours of something coming out, or unless a class is being taught strictly from the internet, from content that is relative to today. Do you see what I'm saying? That's number 2. Number 3 is marketing strategies that were tailored around brand awareness and not conversions or revenue. So I recall marketing classes that were basically more about, oh gosh, how can I explain it? Like brand awareness, and it was just about getting your brand in front of people, all this other stuff. That's what it was. And it wasn't so much about conversions. It wasn't so much the cost of a lead. It wasn't so much, price, the value of a customer, like what we call as a long-term value, LTV. It was none of those things. Okay? It was like literally brand awareness and how to get your brand in front of people and how to position yourself. It was stuff like that. Is that irrelevant? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that's irrelevant. What I'm simply saying is that it is different today. It is not the same. And I feel like today marketing has really evolved, and it's really cool because you're getting real live data on a lot of stuff that took a little time to develop back then. Okay. Like for the first time, you can actually run campaigns on Facebook and get real live data, like up to date right there and then on how many clicks you got, how many conversions you got, how many leads you got from that ad, what the cost was for each lead, what you're paying for 1,000 people to see your ad, how many times they saw that ad. Like that is amazing data. What people don't get is that before all this internet stuff, you would do mailers, what we call as direct response, okay, or direct mail, and you would mail it one time, but you don't know how many times they actually saw it, okay? They could have put it on their counter and looked at it and then stepped away. 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, they look at it again and then step away. And then maybe toss it. They get another mailer a month later. They look at it, different offer, same company. Do you see what's going on? Like, but you didn't know. What you only knew was your response rate of people calling you for that ad that you had together. For the first time, and not in history, but in modern right now, is like your marketing is so accurate. You can know exactly what you're spending on everything. And so it went from like this whole brand awareness thing, which is still important, don't get me wrong, and like getting your brand in front of people and all this other stuff, to the other side is the lifetime value of a customer, the cost of an acquisition, the cost of acquiring a customer, all this stuff, like all this stuff mattering. And that is something that I feel like, is that being taught now in college? I can't speak for that now because, like I said, I've not set foot in my university in nearly 15 years, 14 years now. Okay, so I don't know what's being taught. But what I can tell you is that I wasn't taught what I'm learning now. I wasn't taught about conversions. I mean, we all know what revenue is, but I wasn't taught about all these other things that I have learned by running my business. Okay. Another one is sales and closing was never taught in any class. Here's something that I didn't really understand until I ran my own company. To be able to close, to do sales is a high level skill set. Like if you know how to sell and you're good, that's high level. Like that's really good because that's where the money is printed. That's where the money is made. You could argue that marketing is what makes all the money, but at the end of the day, who closes? Okay. Coffee for closers. Okay. And that's something you guys have to get. Coffee for closers. That's not something that you learn all the time in college. I didn't learn how to sell in college. I learned how to do a pitch for a business plan. I didn't learn how to sell. So where did I get my training for selling? Easy. Experience. I would have to adjust my sales process and my technique according to my close ratio. If my close ratio wasn't high, I needed to make changes and continue to make changes and continue to make changes until I sold a lot. Plain and simple. Okay. And so that's where it's a communication thing. That's where you learn how to communicate what you're trying to iterate or what you're trying to say about the product or service that you're selling. And so what happens is that selling is a learned art. It is something that you will learn as you continue to do more of it. You can read about it. You can listen to audiobooks. You can have someone train you on it. But at the end of the day, the only way to get better at selling is to sell more. And the more you sell, the better you're going to get at closing deals. And the more you close, the higher your confidence, the more money you make, the richer you get. Okay? That, from what I got in 2004, was not taught in college. Okay? Is that taught today? I have no clue. All right? But if you're currently in college and you're telling me that You are learning skill sets on how to close. I'm talking close. I'm not talking a $10 deal. I'm talking close big ticket items. 2, 3, 4, 10,000, 15,000, 30,000, $100,000 deals. And you're like, well, that doesn't exist. Oh, it does. It totally does. That's not being taught in college. Okay? And selling is being a salesperson is a respected position and a respected profession. Okay? And you might be thinking, well, sales isn't really that respected. Oh, it is. If you're good and you know how to position yourself and you put yourself in the right person, you are worth every penny of what you sold. Seriously. You're worth every penny of what you sold. Okay? So that's something that I didn't get in college. I didn't learn how to sell. I learned how to sell through the business world. I got better at selling whenever I started selling at a company called Reg Online that got acquired by Active Network, and apparently they got acquired. So I don't know the entire story of how all that worked. But anyways, I was... put it to this way. My sales manager, Chris Oakes, he knew that I was good at sales because I sold a lot. He didn't just say a lot. Like, I sold a lot. And I was so good at sales that even after I quit, I still sold because all of the things that I was closing was still closing, even after I left. Had I stuck around for like 3 more months, I would have had a free trip to Mexico as a bonus. I didn't. And call me an idiot if you want, but I was ready to move on. Okay. So anyways, selling is a respected profession. If you want to get better at selling, get some good books. If you have questions about good selling books, ask me because I have like 3 or 4 books that I have in my audiobooks that I have that I listen to that have helped me really like hone my selling skills. There's one line that I will forever take to my grave now is from Grant Cardone. If you're like, man, I hate that guy. First of all, if you hate him, that's good because you know him. Okay? He doesn't care if you love him or hate him. You know of him. Okay? And I love Grant Cardone. The guy is amazing. Super bright when it comes to knowing his numbers, sales tactics, and understanding how to close. Okay? The dude is amazing. He profits in so many different ways. What he does is that he goes to events or he goes to galas and whatever. He doesn't go there to chit chat and network. First thing in his head is he's looking around. He's like, who's got my money? Who's got my money? And that's going through his head. Who's got my money? And he's going around to find who has his money. You're like, did someone steal his money? No, no one stole his money. Okay? He's looking to see who has his money. Because there's people that are going to spend money. They just don't know if they're going to spend it with Mr. Grant over here or Howard over there or Joyce over there or Sarah over here. Do you see what's going on? So what Grant does is he doesn't just, go chit chat and be friends. And he focuses on 1 or 2 or 3 people, high profile, to see if they have his money. And if they have his money, he's taking it. But he's going to deliver service. He's going to deliver value. Okay. He's not just taking the money and be like, screw you. He delivers service and value. He's going to make sure you get the best deal. He's going to make sure that you get the best value, best training, all that stuff, right? That's not being taught in college, or at least it wasn't taught whenever I went to school. And I think if it was taught, man, I mean, we would have these college kids, it's weird to say, rocking it, stepping out of college with skill sets that literally carry over into anything. I mean, knowing how to do sales is a skill set that many people will not want to do, but the ones that do will make the most money. Okay? Sales. Dead serious when I say that, right? I mean, I'll put it to you this way. You might think, well, Javier, you ran a martial arts and fitness studio. You just taught karate and did fitness classes. So, in the 10 years that I have run my business, I want to say, and I might be wrong, the 10 years, I've probably made close to $2 million, if not more. Okay? $2 million in 10 years. Not each year. I'm talking cumulative. Okay? 2 million. And there are people in the martial arts industry that have made more money than I have. And that's fine. I don't care. But what I'm getting to is that I was able to hit that mark because I knew how to sell. And I got better at it because I kept doing it. I sucked at it at first, and then I got really awesome at it after. Okay? So selling is huge. All right? Number 5, big brands were the only examples. Today, individuals are the brands. That's really changed a lot. Is back in the day, and even today to a degree, big brands are like the Coca-Colas and the Nikes and the Under Armours and the, and then you have like the NFL. You have all these big brands that people know, okay? And they respect it. And these big brands, they essentially were the face of everything, right? Now, today, the brand is now the individual, the person. You are the brand. Tony Robbins, what's the brand? Tony Robbins. Okay? That's a good thing and a bad thing. But Tony Robbins has got some things set up where he has book sales, where he gets royalties and he gets continuous residual income from it, right? Sets his family up forever, right? So even if he kind of cuts out a part of his business where it's like the coaching and stuff, he has all these other things that are making money. Grant Cardone, he is the business. He's the brand. But he has all these other things that are making money, right? Today, better than any time before, today, okay, you can make yourself the brand. What do you think I'm doing? Do you think I'm doing Boulder Media Radio? Do you think I'm doing Boulder Media Solutions because it's catchy? I'm trying to build my brand. I'm trying to build basically Javier Lozano Jr. Inc. is what I'm trying to build. And you're like, well, why do you have this brand then? I'm using this other thing, this vehicle to kind of help me, but I'm building my brand. All right. I'm building my brand by sharing my knowledge, by going over what I do know and how it works, by selling my knowledge, okay, by hiring out my knowledge, by bringing on clients that cannot do marketing. They're like, I don't want to do this. By hiring clients that need consulting and coaching services, like that sort of stuff. And when I say hire, they hire me. I am now the brand. And today, better than ever before, you are the brand. And that is what is beautiful about this digital media world, is that you are now the brand, not Coca-Cola, not anything else. And Gary Vaynerchuk put this really well in one of his books called Crush It. If you haven't read that book, it's called Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. All right, get the book, read it, or do the audio. I like audio. I like the audio version of this one better too because he actually goes in tangents. And you always want Gary to go on a tangent because you learn a lot. So he talks about that if you have to work for corporate America, that you make sure that you are allowed to create your own brand outside of that company because your brand is worth a lot. And I agree with him 100%. I agree that your brand is worth more than anything else. And the reason I say that is that the bigger you build your brand, the more that you share, that you have more knowledge, people are going to understand that you literally have more to offer than anything else. Like, building your own brand was not taught to me in college. And I'm talking about me. Building Javier Lozano Inc. was not taught in college. The big deal when I graduated was Google going IPO. Kid you not. That was like the big deal. It was like, Google is going public. Oh my God. And I was like, so? I don't really care. And people are like, are you kidding me? Like, this is a big deal. Google's going public, yada, yada. I didn't care. That didn't affect me personally. I didn't make any money off of it. I had no money to invest in it. So why did I care? You see what's going on? Today, though, you don't have to go public because you're your own brand. You can stay private and make as much as you want, and then you can start making money in different areas of expertise that you offer. Okay? And that's what I plan on doing. Why do you think I'm selling my services to different niches in industries. It's part of it is to sell my brand, okay? And the other part is to build my business so that I have these other streams of revenue. When I left my business, when I sold it, some people says like, well, you are the Dojo of Karate. And I knew that, but I was trying to remove myself from that, and it was tough. But at the end of the day is like, I built my brand in a way that I was like that focal point. Was that a good thing? Kind of. Was it a bad thing? Yeah, it was. Because removing that person, that was the brand, and then having someone else take over, that's hard. It's difficult. So those are the 5 reasons why I think college is a waste of money, and it was the worst investment for me. Is it the worst investment for you? I don't know, man. Only you can determine if that is the worst investment for you. And this is a discussion that my wife and I have a lot, is should we invest in college for our kids? I personally do not want to, okay? Unless they're going to be doctors, attorneys, something. Okay. And if they are, cool. If they're not, and if they're like, oh, I want to open my own business, I'm not going to pay for college then. Go get a flipping job or open a business or something. Okay. And the reason I say that is that there's more skills developed on the field of work, of getting a job. Am I wrong? Kind of, because there's also certain things about finding out who you are. If you can hear all that, it's my kids upstairs playing, so I apologize. Which, after this show, I'm going upstairs and playing with my kids. But what I was saying is that sometimes college is good because it helps find who you are, helps find your soulmate, maybe, your best friend. College does a lot. Is it worth the investment today? I don't know, man. I think college it's a tough balance. It's expensive today, but what I will say is that college is great for some people, and they need that structure. But I've even heard people say that college is like the biggest, what's the right word? Gosh, I can't think of the word. Like the biggest, lie or something like that. There was a word someone told me. I was like, that's actually pretty accurate, because it doesn't guarantee anything. I mean, how many times do you spend 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 in something that's supposed to get you something better? Like, not often. For doctors, you walk out with $150,000, $200,000 in debt, and it takes you years, and you're like, well, you'll make that money back. Yeah, you will. Like years down the road. And so, like you might be thinking like, well, that attorney is driving a really nice car. Do you see all their debt that they're paying? Do you see what's going on? So I think that college is not what it is today. And it's sad, but it is what it is. If I had 30 grand to invest, where would I put it? I'd put it on courses and educational things that will give me money in return immediately. Okay. And what I mean by this is that I would invest in programs that have developed high successful people in networking and connections. I would not put it into college. 50,000, 100,000, I don't care. Would not put it into college. Why? It's clear that I am not college material. I got kicked out of college, for crying out loud. I don't even know if I would qualify to go into an MBA program because I got kicked out of college. Don't think I would qualify. Okay? I would have to I don't know how I would get in is probably a better question. Okay? Flip side of it is I just don't think I'd be a good student. I don't think I'd be a good candidate. I would probably be that person that's very difficult to deal with. So that's my story of why I think college is worthless. What did Paul say? Better question is, what do your kids want? I didn't want to go to school, but was forced. I let my kids decide if they want to go. I educate them on the pros and cons, but it's their choice. Yeah, Paul, I totally agree, man. And so that's a conversation that I'll have with my kids, with Gabriel 13 years from now, or maybe 12, scary, and Victoria like 14, 15 years from now. And we'll decide that when we cross that bridge. Okay, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. And let's be honest, 10 years from now, college can be completely different from what it is. It'd be on the cutting edge. It can be on the ups. It can be different because the world, the internet is changing. Okay, we'll probably be at Web 5.0 at that point, and so it can be huge. It can be different, and it's cool. It's exciting. That's what you want. This show went way longer than what I totally anticipated. 45 minutes? Holy smokes. If you've been watching the entire time, thank you. All right, that's insane that you've actually stuck around that long. Okay, but give me some thumbs up. Don't do the yellow thumbs up. Give me the actual likes. So give me some likes. Give me some hearts. That helps get the juice out for this. So if you want to follow us on our podcast, you can follow us on our podcast. Boulder Media Radio is the station, and you can find us under the business and marketing portion of iTunes. And we're also on Stitcher, and we're also on, I think we got on a couple of other platforms. We're working on a couple more. If you want to follow us also on YouTube, you can watch this video live on YouTube. Well, not live, but it'll be recorded. So just follow us, youtube.com/JaviKicks. And obviously, I'll be doing my live shows right here. This Thursday, I've got a great guest, my first guest. His name is Gino Garcia. And I'm stoked about this guest because he's going to be talking about culture being the new currency. And I really believe this. I really believe creating a culture in your business, but not just for your employees, for your clients is the new currency. Create a culture for your clients and you will be reaping the rewards of a business. It is amazing. So I can't wait to do this interview with Gino. This is going to be off the hook. A, because it's my first interview, but B, we're just going to have fun. He's going to share some really cool things that he's doing in his company. So thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Javier with Boulder Media Radio. If you have marketing questions or anything like that, you need some marketing services, sales services, you need consulting coaching, contact me with Boulder Media Solutions. I am here to help you out. Hope you get some value out of this show. I'll talk to you guys later.